YouTube, what's good? You got a BowTie Fragrance Guy on the channel. We talk about fragrances, fashion, and grooming. So for all those gentlemen out there that not only take pride in how they smell, but how they look, you found the right channel, man. Just go ahead and click subscribe. Doesn't cost you a dime to do that. Click subscribe. Make sure you get all the notifications, hit the bell icon, so anytime I upload a new video on YouTube, you get notified. Guys, about 2 years ago, I did a video called The Best Things I've Ever Smelled. Some of the best things I've ever smelled, and I was talking about fragrances, and I want to kind of follow up on that. It's kind of a part two. I didn't even go back to see what I had on that list, but right now the stand in my collection, I've smelled a lot of fragrances. I know it's been over 5,000, at this point. And out of all those fragrances that I smell, to me, these 10 fragrances kind of stand out. It's actually, I want to kind of mention 12, but as some of the best I've ever smelled. The funny thing is, not all of these fragrances are on my like 10 for life or anything like that. I'm just talking about simply not scent profile, versatility, and none of those things withstanding performance. None of those things withstanding. Just when I smell this fragrance, I'm like blown away. Wow, this is one of the best things I've ever smelled. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. If you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it.
The BowTie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. We're going to jump into the video. Remember, guys, really soon here, well, soon enough, I would say, I'm going to be releasing a new fragrance. And you guys, I love you guys. Support my channel. You rock with me and support me. Make sure you pick it up. But I'm telling you right now, for what you're going to pay for this, it is going to be highway robbery. The quality of ingredients used and the scent profile that we were able to come up with. I'm going to be dropping a video really soon where I talk about the perfumer that did this fragrance, and I will tell you, this guy did a lot of fragrances for one of my favorite brands. I'll just say that for right now. And the notes that I have in the fragrance, I took a lot of notes that I love, put them together, and they worked out beautifully. I will say that. So I'm going to be talking more about that here over the next 2 or 3 weeks, but just make sure that you're keeping, locked in so you can hear about it when it comes out. Because I'm going to tell you, it's a very limited quantity, and once it's gone, it's gone. I'll say that. And it'll be something I think is in everybody's price range that watches the channel. So that's another some more good news. So anyway, make sure that you're listening out for more information on that. But this first fragrance, when we talk about gourmands, it's a newer fragrance in my collection. I love gourmands. So many great gourmands that I could put on the list when I say the best thing I've ever smelled. This is new, so there's a little recency bias here. So it's kind of an honorable mention, but man, it's one of the best things I've ever smelled. When I put my nose to it, from Mind Games, check please, and I've talked about it. That beautiful green apple up top with the nougat, the oak barrels. This thing is just super unique. That apple note mixed with all these sweet notes like the nougat and all that kind of stuff, the tonka, it just really makes it stand out to me as being something very unique, and I absolutely love the way it smells. Again, it's newer to the collection, so I just wanted to mention as an honorable mention here, but it smells really good for what I like. So from the brand of Mind Games, check please. This stuff is really good. Guys, I had to put this next fragrance on here. This one really had blew me away. It's become one of my favorite fragrances from a brand that I have a lot of fragrances from Bond #9, #1. Man, guys, this thing is fantastic. Rose, tonka, ylang ylang, vanilla, and patchouli. Again, I really don't have words just to tell you how good this smells to me. It's just, again, the topic that we're talking about today, something that is one of the best things I've ever smelled. When I talk about fragrances, this is just it for me. And I keep talking about this when I talk about this fragrance. We have this beautiful rose here with this banana-like ylang ylang note here up top. And it's just, again, it just smells fantastic. It smells fantastic. And that's honestly, when I say that, this is kind of how I feel about all these fragrances when I smell them. And that's how, I came up with what fragrances would kind of be on this list. It dries down, You get this really, of course, that beautiful, sweet, more mature bourbon. Not like vanilla. It's not a sweet, like playful kind of vanilla, but you have that with patchouli that grounds it. It's just so sexy and it smells amazing. From Bond number 9, one of the best things I've ever smelled. I love this stuff, man. Cannot get enough of it. Wow, seriously. This is called number 1 from Bond number 9. All right, guys, so this next fragrance, we're going to get a 2-for-1 because these two fragrances kind of remind me of one another. I'm talking about from the Spirit of Dubai, we're talking about Narcissi, and we're talking about from BDK Parfums Tobacco Rose. Both of these are kind of beautiful rose fragrances that have like gourmand tendencies. That's the way that I describe it. Absolutely blown away at how these smell. First up, looking at Narcissi. This one is more rose, coffee, honey, and incense. And then with Tobacco Rose, here we have rose, chocolate, tobacco, and cinnamon. So again, they're rose fragrances that have a nice kind of sweet and gourmand element to them. Very sexy, very seductive fragrances. And two of the best fragrances I've ever smelled. Narcissi, again, Spirit of Dubai, Tobacco Rose from BDK Parfums. Guys, I don't want to really beat a dead horse about this next fragrance, but when I talk about this particular topic, I couldn't leave it off. It's super expensive, but Haute Luxe is one of the best things I've ever smelled. I'm being honest about that. Benzoin, oak moss, orris, labdanum, and vanilla as some of the main notes. I can't really even describe it. It's a chypre, and like I said, Roja said a chypre wrapped in cashmere. I couldn't say it any better myself. It's very masculine, but it's very, very powdery as well. It just smells heavenly when I put my nose to this fragrance. It's just seriously, again, easily one of the best things I've ever smelled in fragrances. I love this kind of scent profile anyway. And again, this orris vanilla thing on the dry down just does it. It just does it. So check it out from the brand of Roja Parfums. Get a sample of this expensive thing. This is called Haute Luxe. This next fragrance comes from the brand of Clive Christian. It's 1872. Wow, is all I can say. Petit green lavender, nutmeg, jasmine, and cedarwood. Wow is all I can say, man. This beautiful melange of citrus notes and floral in the opening just give this very fresh, fruity, clean opening to this fragrance. And then there's these very masculine, traditionally masculine elements to it on the dry down. More specifically, we're talking about that note of lavender and kind of the cedarwood as it dries down. Very woody, masculine qualities that are kind of, come in to play here with that as well. And it's definitely a neutralizer to the florals here, because there's a kind of a host of florals here like jasmine, freesia, just to name a few. And then you have, again, the beautiful bright citrus notes up top with petit grain. This is easily one of the best things I've ever smelled. I could smell this thing all day long. Wow is all I can say, man. Wow is all I can say. I love this fragrance from Clive Christian, man. This is 1872. Again, this one is for men. There is a version for women, so remember that. This is Clive Christian 1872 for men. Excellent. Guys, I was blown away by this fragrance when I first smelled it, and I am still blown away by this fragrance. This one comes from the brand of Argos, Adonis Awakens. Adonis Awakens. Raspberry, Bulgarian rose, chestnut, sandalwood, some of the main notes. Wow. The standout note here for me in this particular fragrance is that chestnut, because the chestnut give this kind of nutty nuance to this fragrance that is kind of the undercurrent of which all these other nut notes kind of sit upon. And it is just fantastic, amazingly done. Beautiful rose, raspberry combination up top, like I said before, with the sandalwood giving this creaminess to it. And then, of course, that beautiful chestnut note. This is, guys, if you never smelled it, man, this is one you got to put your nose on. You have to. From the brand of Argos. Check this one out, Adonis Awakens, next level. This next fragrance comes from the brand of Xerjoff. We're talking about Pikovaya Dama. Pikovaya Dama. Neroli aldehydes, vanilla, sandalwood. This is one that you have to be into clean, very clean, soapy fragrances where it has a floral touch to it, because that's exactly what it is. But when I talk about fragrances and just something that just smells good, this has to be at top of the list. Wow. All I can say is, again, I'm just blown away at how good all 10 of these fragrances smell. Well, probably 12 or so I'm going to mention. Just absolutely blown away at how good they smell. And at the end of the day, when people are out searching for a good fragrance, for most people, that's kind of square one. How good does it smell? And all of these fragrances get an A+ in my opinion in that category. Again, this is one that you have to be okay with florals and very clean, fresh, soapy, aldehydic kind of fragrances, because that's really what it is at its core. But it is just so good in the quality of it, the ingredients. When you smell it, you can smell the quality here in this fragrance, that I can sincerely say that. It is just so good in my humble opinion. Wow. Again, everything that I'm smelling is a wow for me. That's why it's on the list. Check it out. From the brand of Xerjoff, Pikovaya Dama. This next fragrance is from the brand of Boadicea Victorious. I'm talking about Mous. Mous, black pepper, lavender, orris root, caramel, vanilla, and tonka. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, guys, and that's such a sad thing, because this is something I wish everyone could smell. I wish everyone could smell it and have this very clean note of lavender with the spicy black pepper up top. Then the dry down is all about the sweetness of the caramel with the tonka and vanilla that is kind of offset by this earthy, rooty orris. This is not like a powdery orris thing. This is like earthy, rooty orris root almost. So it gives this gritty and edginess to this fragrance that is just perfect for the sweet caramel vanilla tonka dry down. Home run, man. Easily one of the best things I've ever smelled from the brand of Boadicea Victorious. This is Mous. This next fragrance, we're going back to the brand of Roja Parfums. This was called Amber Aoud. Amber Aoud or Amber Oud. Phenomenal stuff, man. Fig, rose, ambergris, patchouli, and sandalwood. Again, when I talk about this fragrance, I always say it smells like fine wine. It smells like fine wine. The main player here that really draws me to this fragrance, and I feel like catapults it as a scent profile, is that note of fig, because it's so good here. Again, fig to me is really creamy, kind of seductive fruit accord that you can use in a fragrance, and you combine that here with the rose, again, in the ambergris / amber accord as it dries down. This stuff just smells of quality. Again, fine wine is the words that comes to my mind when I smell this fragrance. High class. It's amazing. From the brand of Roja Parfums, Amber Oud. I've waxed poetically many times on this channel about this next fragrance, and it comes from the brand of Xerjoff. A brand of Amouage Reflection 45. Reflection 45. This is a masterpiece. Lavender, iris, neroli, sandalwood, and then of course, this is the addition that made this fragrance so unique based on the first one, or different, I would say, is the myrrh and the opoponax. You get the original Reflection Man DNA with a very earthy, dark, gritty, dried down, primarily with the smokiness of that myrrh and that opoponax and that resinous myrrh note here. It is just, again, I can't think of a fragrance that is more versatile. Like, if I could only have one fragrance for the rest of my life, this is one of those ones that would be in consideration, because it is everything for me. It smells great. I think it's 4 seasons that you could rock this, and I think from work to going out to a wedding to black tie, you could wear it. It's that kind of scent profile, and I love it. From the brand of Amouage, man, Reflection 45, one of my favorite fragrances. Smells great. Guys, this next fragrance is one that comes from one of my favorite brands. I haven't talked about it in a while, and I have I kind of stopped wearing it because I was running through this so fast. I probably got about not quite half left, but it's from the brand of Kilian. I'm talking about Black Phantom. One of the best things I've ever smelled, man. Easily. Chocolate coffee, sugarcane rum, and sandalwood. Haven't put my nose on it in a little while here, but still, as I just did, I'm blown away by how this stuff smells. Let me give myself a spritz. Wow. Beautiful, sweet fragrance that has the booziness, of course, with the rum in there. You get that in abundance with this fragrance. So it's like this boozy gourmand, and you have, of course, this almost crystallized, like sugarcane kind of accord in this fragrance with some coffee and the creaminess of sandalwood. Just unfair. Adonis Lancaster, amazing job on this fragrance. One of my favorite fragrances of all time. This has been in my top 10 for life before. Get new stuff in, kind of falls out, kind of forget about it. But if I was doing only 25 or so for sure, like for instance, this would be one of the fragrances I would keep. It smells darn good, man. One of the best things I've ever smelled. Wow. Black Phantom by Kilian. Love this stuff. And as another bonus, this next fragrance comes from the brand of Roja Parfums. I'm talking about Creation E, man. Creation E. Can't forget about this gem. Cognac, tobacco, vanilla, patchouli, and benzoin. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. Boozy. Again, you've heard it a million times, but there's no better way to describe it. Boozy cognac, pour in some Coca-Cola. Rum and Coke. Cognac and Coke. That's what you got here. Cognac and Coke, but sexier. Creation E. Had to throw this in as a bonus. Easily one of the best things I've ever smelled in my life. But that is it, guys. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this video today. As I gave you, well, more so 10 to 12 of the best fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. What are some fragrances you have in your collection that you would put into this category? I would love to hear from you guys down in the comment section. And as always, I sincerely appreciate your time and attention to these videos. You guys don't have to watch, but you do. And from the bottom of my heart, man, sincerely, I appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take out a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure you're sharing these out to some other folks out there that think could use the information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darian, man. I'm the BowTie fragrance guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell fantastic. So until next time, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.